Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to this video on the Gemini new moon. There is lots of change occurring around this new moon. It also has a very Cancerian feel, so we're working with more intuition than we usually would with the Gemini new moon, awakening us to new opportunity, inviting us into adaptability, and it's preceding some really big changes we're moving into in the second half of 2026. So I'm excited to dive into this with you today, look at everything that's unfolding around this Gemini new moon. So as you jump in, as you press play on this video, say hi below. I would love to hear from you, your intentions with this new moon. New moons are always the time to look at what do I desire to create? What do I desire to birth into the world? And manifesting with these moon cycles is so beautiful. We can use the new moon as a cue to go within and really ask what do I want to plant seeds for in this new chapter? Then the full moon a couple of weeks later is that time to really check in and to celebrate. And it's just such a powerful way to create and manifest alongside this cosmic energy. So let's dive right in today because there is a lot I want to share. So I'm going to bring up my screen here so we have the visual. You may be listening in on the Born for the Stars podcast, so that works as well. But if you want to jump over and have the visual, I have the new moon chart pulled up over here on YouTube. So, the new moon in Gemini, moon and sun conjunct at the 24 degrees mark. So, this is falling near the end of Gemini season. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So, there's a strong theme around communication. And I always like to take time to really feel into the energies surrounding a new moon, really allowing it to like land before I do these videos. And there's a big message coming in around breaking the habit of consuming information, consuming thoughts, ideas, content that really isn't good for us, that really isn't helpful, that's programming our mind in ways that don't ultimately serve us or how we want to feel, what we want to experience. So it's a really good time to look at what information are you taking in? What podcasts are you listening to, and how do you feel as you consume that information? Is it uplifting? Is it empowering? Does it give you a new way to think about things? Or does it feel really heavy? Does it weigh you down? Because we carry that with us. And, the same on social media when we're scrolling our favorite accounts. How are we feeling when we're consuming that information? Are we getting pulled in a million different directions, which can be the shadow side of Gemini? And even just the current energies we have this year, a lot of fire and air element is very fast moving, and the shadow could be we're completely overwhelmed. We're feeling scattered. We're, jumping from video to video, program to program without really taking time to integrate and come back home to our body. And, this is an important reminder here with Mars still in Taurus of grounding, connecting barefoot on the grass. I feel like I say this in every video, but earthing just has so many benefits. Go walk along the beach, put your feet in the grass, really come home to your body, especially if you find you're feeling really scattered or overwhelmed or kind of just going task to task without really checking in and seeing how do I feel? Is this aligned? Where is my energy going? And that's the other part of the Gemini archetype. What are we giving our energy and attention to? Are there energy leaks that it's time to patch up? What are we entertaining? Now, the other part of this Gemini energy that I've always loved is the openness. I see Gemini as like in the highest octave, open, adaptable, such like a playful lightness to this energy. It is mutable air. So it has this lightness and playfulness and can bring us back, and even in astrology, connected to our early childhood development and how we socialize, how we relate to others. And if we look at children, they have a more open mind, they're more curious, their belief systems aren't locked in place. Even from the neuroscience lens, we really see that those neural pathways aren't ingrained yet in terms of how they see the world, the lens in which they're looking through. It's more open. And we can all learn from that. And beyond just this new moon, we have Uranus moving through the sign of Gemini as well, which is really awakening us to new ways of communicating. It's bringing rapid advancements to AI. And it's really important. We're working with AI intentionally, consciously. It's also bringing a lot of advancements to the way that we understand intuition and bringing some of those conversations mainstream around telepathy, like more conversations around that hitting the mainstream. You may have found lately as well, like your intuition is just so on point. Synchronicities are off the chart, pattern recognition. These are all things we're seeing beyond just this new moon in Gemini, but with this transit, this much bigger transit of Uranus moving through Gemini, it's changing the way we communicate, the way we interact with information. And I would find where this is landing in your chart. So, the Gemini symbol, what you want to do is check out where that falls, the house that it correlates with. So, the number that it correlates with, even if you don't have planets there, you will have it ruling over an area of your life, which is what the house placements in astrology represent, the different areas of our life. So we each have the 12 archetypes of the zodiac ingrained into a certain area of our life. And that's why it's so helpful, even if we don't have planets in Gemini, to understand this archetype, not only so we understand how to connect with others that have that more present in their life, but we unlock a piece of ourselves when we understand these different zodiac signs. So Gemini, adaptability, flexibility, curiosity, an open mind. What are you consuming? What habits is it time to break? What can you start entertaining that's going to feel more nourishing and life-giving for you? Now, looking at the aspects here is where it gets interesting. So, the first significant one is this sextile that it's making to Chiron at 29 degrees of Aries. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. It's wherever this is placed in your chart is an area where there can be insecurities, wounding that happen early on in your life, but even stem beyond early on to like other lifetimes. And you come in wanting to heal that wound and get the gift from it. Now, collectively, for the past 8 years, it's been moving through the sign of Aries. So, this can be another check in point. An 8 year cycle is ending. And there's something here that you've been healing over the past 8 years. Where has this transit been for you? Where does Aries fall in your birth chart? That's where Chiron's been moving through these 8 years, and it's been supporting you in healing that area of your life and taking the gift. Now, for all of us, Chiron in Aries really relates to independence and our sovereignty, and overall just a sense of self, how we see ourselves, how we move in the world, our ability to create change, the belief that our actions do matter, that we can create change, that we matter. So, the other part of this is people who have this placement in their birth chart are finishing up their Chiron return. And as it moves into Taurus, if you have Chiron in Taurus, you're about to enter your Chiron return. And I've recently been doing readings again. Um, and they'll close eventually as well. I open them at different times in the year, but it's so interesting to just see the themes. I've had a lot of people come in lately that are about to enter their Chiron return, and it's just so much happening astrologically this year that I'm really loving doing these readings, and I wanted more people to have access to understanding what's unfolding with it in them, because so many people are feeling these big changes, these big life decisions to their path. And I'm going to talk about the astrology more behind that as well. That is significant right now. But we're moving through a lot. What once felt aligned may no longer feel aligned. And I've seen this for a lot of people in business where they're changing their branding, they're changing their messaging. They've even been through a period of pulling back and going through their own healing work, and they're ready to bring that knowledge and that information forward in new ways. Or they're just feeling this incredible expansion taking place where they want to fill their programs with more aligned clients. They really want their messaging to feel deep and it lands and it feels like an expression of their truth. So if you would like a reading, I'm going to put the link in the comments. I love giving guidance and helping you apply these things in very tangible ways, like based on your goals and what you're working on. And the other part of this is what's going on in the cosmos isn't just something happening outside of us that's influencing us. It represents what we are internally moving through, as above, so below. We are not as disconnected as our ego makes us believe. As part of this human journey, there is way, way, way more unity involved. We are all very interconnected, and that includes with these themes that we see unfold in the cosmos. So going back to, actually, I want to wrap up with this Chiron piece because the sextile here is significant. So something's healing. Now, the storyline around this continues because on the 21st, we're going to enter the solstice with the sun moving into Cancer. And then we're going to have Chiron in Taurus on June 19th. It will have a retrograde. So I'll talk about that in coming videos where it's going to go back into Aries to finish up there. But as it moves into Taurus, it's going to form a sextile with the sun in Cancer. So we're seeing a lot of these Chiron themes of helping others through our journey, right? Chiron isn't just about staying stuck in the wound, it's about taking the gift and the lesson. And when we are a healer or a teacher at heart, we naturally want to help others with what we've learned. We want to take what we've experienced and share that. We want to help others that may be in a similar situation. So big themes there around Chiron. Now, the other thing around big life changes happening. So Uranus at 2 degrees of Gemini is currently forming a square with the nodes. So we have the north node 2 degrees of Pisces, and then we have the south node 2 degrees of Virgo, which doesn't show in this chart, but it's a mathematical point that would be happening directly opposite the north node. So this square here, Uranus, the awakener, the disruptor, the nodes of destiny is our fate and our path. And this is what's contributing to so many of us right now, while also influencing the collective to awaken to things we've been asleep to really look at what our purpose is. Is it life-giving? And there's something here about awakening to deeper levels of unity. So the nodes are going to change signs on July the 26th. So the square is going to be pretty active until that point, bringing a lot of changes to our life. And it's a really good time to try new things. Like none of this energy here suggests you should stay in your comfort zone and play it safe. If you do that, it's actually going to lead to a lot of boredom and you're just going to feel like things are moving so quickly and it's hard to keep up. And you get to work at a pace, of course, that feels good for you and your body. And yet, for all of us being humans, we're meant to change and grow. Stagnation is against our nature. Evolution is the way of life. So, how are you being called to evolve and change at this time? And what does that mean in the relationships in your life, for the work you're doing in your business, for your soul purpose, for even new intuitive spiritual gifts that may be coming on board for you? Things are really shifting here, and we're meant to embrace that change. Now, the shadow of this is we make big moves impulsively instead of intentionally, or we're trying to change things just for the sake of change without being really grounded in what we value and where we're going. So move, but move with intentionality, move with focus. This doesn't mean we have perfect clarity. Clarity comes from action. Clarity comes from an open mind. Clarity comes from being willing to do new things. And that's the message of Uranus and Gemini and this new moon. Be open to trying new things. Definitely, this is huge here. Change is just huge at this time. I mean, I don't think we really could stay stagnant if we tried. There's just so much in motion right now. Again, that's not to overwhelm us, it's to really get curious about what excites us. What do we love to do? We live in a time where there's so much information right at our fingertips, and we could get overwhelmed by that, or we could get excited by that, and we could really look at, what do I want to consume? What do I want to pour my energy into right now? Now, the other part of this new moon, it is ruled by Mercury, the communication planet, which is currently 18 degrees of Cancer. So, Mercury in the sign of Cancer is extremely intuitive. It's connected to emotions. So, it changes the energy of this Gemini moon in the sense of, we may be feeling things very deeply right now, not just because of Mercury there. Yes, because of that. But in addition, Jupiter at 26 degrees of Cancer, it's getting ready to wrap up the cycle there as well before moving into Leo. So Mercury and Jupiter both in Cancer right now. Intuition is amplified. That's another big theme this year for sure, but we really feel that at the new moon. So trust where you're being guided. What's a decision that it's time to make, and maybe escaping from the story of, I don't know, or I feel overwhelmed, or I don't have the clarity, and really lock into, I'm going to trust myself. What lights me up? What gives me that spark, even if it just feels very subtle? What it's about connecting with our body again and trusting and honoring the cycles we are in. A big lesson before Jupiter moves into Leo. It's been in Cancer for a year now. It's exalted in this sign. And yes, it can amplify emotion and intuition, and it encourages us to nurture ourselves and to rebuild the relationship we have with our intuition and with our feelings. We don't want our feelings to run the show in our life. Emotions come and go. And yet, we can't ignore them either, because they can be really, really powerful messengers. So, bigger transit is about to end here as well. Mercury in Cancer, intuition, trust where you are being guided at this time. Now, the other thing I want to take a quick look at here is Venus recently moved into the sign of Leo. So I would say this wraps up the Jupiter Venus conjunction that all astrologers were talking about, and for good reason. It's good fortune, abundance, wherever 25 degrees of Cancer lands in your chart is where this portal of miracles and abundance and just good things wanting to flow into your life. Now, technically, you could say they are still conjunct, but it's an out of sign conjunction, which I view differently. It's like Venus is moving on, we're stepping into a new energy. There's definitely, even though there's a lot of like deeper work happening here, there's also a lightness and a playfulness and a creativity that is coming through during this new moon as well. And Venus in Leo is also very creative, and there's something about connecting to our inner child and honoring how our inner child is wanting to be expressed at this time. Like, what would feel fun? What if you led with that every day? And I know we have responsibilities, and it doesn't mean we throw that away. In fact, why not bring a sense of joy to our daily life and the responsibilities we have? It doesn't need to be one or the other. Entertain that question. How can I bring in more joy, more playfulness into my life? And if you would like me to decode your chart for you, that's exactly what I do. I'm more than happy to share the transits that are happening for you, which basically means portals of opportunity, themes that are emerging, and how to work with that to create the change that you want to see in your business at this time, and the soul gifts that are emerging at this time, and maybe just like making sense of what you're navigating, or support you in kind of making a decision. If you feel like you're in an uncertain place, astrology can be a beautiful guide for that. And I also work with the Akashic records as well, which just brings in more clarity and a lot of healing energy and a deeper connection to your higher self and your spirit team as well. All right, enjoy this energy. So much love being sent your way. I would love to hear from you on Instagram or Facebook. Let me know what landed for you in today's new moon video, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye for now.